Oh my goodness. We are back, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, y'all. This is the Intentional Living Podcast with SonjaW. And I am back, y'all. I'm back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am back to assist you with starting off your week with a little less chaos. Okay. So listen, y'all, I am so excited because I am back to you again with a new season 2 of Intentional Living with SonjaW. And y'all, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But before we get into this, y'all ever have this friend or person that you know that is perpetually annoyed? Like they just always have this annoyance about them. That's my right eye today. My right eye always drives me crazy. And as y'all can see, I am all dolled up. Um listen, let me tell y'all this as well. I am all dolled up for a reason. As you know, on Monday mornings, we come in and we get to work. So this is going to be a rarity, but I am dressed up because right after recording, I am headed out the door for a conference for work. But you my right eye is literally watering. Okay. It is so annoying. But thanks be to God, my hair is on that side, so you can't really see it. But anyway, enough of the craziness, enough of the my random talking. I am so excited to be back here with the Intentional Living Podcast because I missed y'all. But it's so important to take some time to rest. And that's what we're actually going to be talking about today. Of course, we're going to break down those things that we always do. We got our intro. We got our one good thing that we talk about. We got our what's on the docket. And then we break down the intentional topic of the week, which is about maximizing your season. And spoiler, it includes rest. And then we are going to be ending our day with the usual, and that is our Dreamboost Prayer. Okay, because it is so key and so important to start off anything great with prayer. So we're going to start off a great week with some prayer. Okay, so let's get into it. So as usual, I am just going to intro everything that we've always been doing, because if this is your first time, you have no idea about all these different topics that we break down in these 20 minutes. So first of all, Intentional Living with SonjaW is a 20-minute podcast every Monday morning where we talk about 4 things that we're going to make sure that we start our week off right. It was actually kind of started a little selfishly by me because I wanted to make sure that I took some time to do my own weekly review, and this is a way to help bring people along. Okay, so you're going to listen to these 20 minutes and then you're going to sit down and make sure that you do a weekly review. I did my weekly review ahead of time because I know this week I got to leave. So there's a few things that are going to help you get into the right mindset for reviewing your week and getting ready and being intentional about how you spend your time this week. The first thing is that one good thing. Oh, and I am excited. One good thing is a topic where we just talk about something good that happened the week before, because it's so important to go into any new thing with the right mindset and being thankful, being full of gratitude is a way to make sure that happens well. Okay. So my one good thing is that I had a great time at this conference that I'm running to today. Yesterday, I actually got a chance to present some work that we're doing at my job, and we are doing some really cool things, and we're going to have some data available for healthcare researchers soon. So I got the chance to talk about that, and it went amazing. People are excited about the data. I'm excited about the data. So it's just really, really good. And then what else happened? I had an amazing June. Did lots of things. But yeah, I had a great time resting because rest is important. Okay. So those are my one good thing. Well, I had 2 good things. Also, if you follow me enough, you'll find out that it's very hard for me to just have one good thing. And that's a good thing. And I want you to get into the habit of having more than one good thing. Really be looking for the good that happened in your life during the week. Okay. So then the next thing is what's on the docket. So the whole point to this time of reflection and building out your week for your weekly review is to know what's on the docket for you, right? So I go through and kind of give you a couple of the highlights that I'm gonna be focusing on this week, and then I want you to do the same. Go ahead and put it in the comments if you're catching the replay, or if you're here right now, go ahead and put those things in the comments. I would love to, one, honestly pray with you about them, but then two, really see what we're doing about being intentional with our time. So for me, what's on the docket is finishing putting together my new planner. Because it is a new quarter. So I gotta go in and put in my dream week. I talk about that from time to time. Maybe I'll talk about it sometime this season, but I'm gonna plug in my dream week, which is just a way to lay out if I had my ideal week, if I had the ideal time, these are the things that I would do. That helps you kind of figure out the best way to move and to live in your week, right? And it also gives you a basis to stand on, because sometimes we just live our lives flying by the seat of our pants, right? But that's not effective. But when you have a dream week, you know what the goal is, so that if life is just going crazy or you have lots of appointments, you can shift those things, but you always have in mind the key and important things in your life. You always have in mind the fact that you desire to pray. You always have in mind the fact that you want to work out and stuff like that. So that's the key to having a great dream week. So I got to plug that into this planner. What else I have to do? I got to do a couple different things. I did do my weekly review already, so what I'm doing for this week is already done, and one of those is completing the planner. And then the other one is I'm actually going to be a little vulnerable with y'all right now. I have always had goals from the beginning of the year based on my values, and deciding on, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do this quarter, this is what I'm going to do that quarter. Like, I have a general idea of what I want to do, honestly, at the beginning of the year. Well, in my time of rest, the Lord told me to scrap everything. I said, wow, okay. So that will also be what I'm doing this week, and maybe even longer. And I think that's the beauty of this intentional living idea or plan or thought. By the way, if you're getting in here late, you'll notice me rubbing my eye. It's because my eye is doing the most. Okay. But anyway, this is kind of like it's surprising to me, because I do pray and seek the Lord before I do anything, really. And so the Lord was like, girl, scrap them all, do it over. He did it much nicer than that. But he brought me back to Matthew 6:33, where it says to seek first your kingdom and all these things will be added. Right. So all these things, if you read back in that chapter, he's talking about how people are always worried about what they're going to eat, what they're going to do, all these different things. And he's saying that those who love him, those who believe in him, don't have to worry about that, because he's taking care of us. So take care of the kingdom, take care of loving others, take care of proclaiming the good news that Christ has come, take care of bringing justice and peace and joy into this world, and he'll take care of all the things, the natural things that you have to get done. So that is what I'm doing this week. And then also I have some work things that I got to do. So I encourage you to take time to do the same, right? Like, are you doing what you are called to do in this season, in this time? Think back and figure out, am I seeking first his kingdom? And I had to do a whole study on kingdom, because I was like, I actually don't think I know what a kingdom is, what his kingdom is. So I'll do a video on this. I don't know, because it was fun studying that. But anyway, so that's what's going on with me. So I'm gonna finish my planner and figure out what I'm doing for the rest of this year. But all right, so now we're going to get to the main thing of the day, and that is the intentional topic of the week. And this intentional topic of the week is maximizing your season. This is a new season. It is July 1st, first of all, okay? This is a new season. This is a new quarter. This is a new month. There is just so much newness. And I love what Lamentations 3:23, I think, says, where it says that his mercies are new every morning. So I always think, like, if it's a new morning, a new month, a new quarter, a new half of the year, then there's got to be so much good, so much new mercies coming our way. So I'm excited, and I want you guys to maximize the season that you are in as well. Okay. So I wanted to break down 3 things real quick, and I'm actually going to talk about this in my Monday email. So if you aren't on the email list, go down below right now. Click on that link that says join the email list, join the intentional living email list. Okay. And we'll break that down a little bit more. I might even put it up on my website. We'll see. Anyway, but there are 3 key things, and I'm going to run through these real quick. Okay. The first thing is to know when to rest. There has to be time to rest in the season. People always talk about, oh, I'm going to be on my grind. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. But it's important that we take time to rest. I was actually reading, it reminded me of this verse, Genesis 8:22, where it says, while earth remains, there is seed, time, and harvest. While the earth remains, seed, time, and harvest shall not cease, basically. And I was just thinking about that. Seed time and harvest. Seed time and harvest. There's a time where you plant, there's a time where there's waiting, and then there's a time for harvest, right? But I'm thinking that's even in seasons of life or whatever, or seasons of your rhythms of life. There's a time where you work, there's a time where you rest. And matter of fact, God commands it weekly. Because he realizes the importance of our minds and our bodies needing to rest. So know when to take some time to rest. Even in your busiest seasons, there should at least once a week you are taking time to relax and to rest. Okay. Then the second thing is to know when and how to run. So I was fascinated with learning a little bit more when I thought about this, learning a little bit more about training of marathon runners. Now, I am not a runner nor a track star. Okay, that's not something I'm gonna do. Okay, I don't like it. It don't. People talk about this runner's high. Every time I try to run, I've never had a high. I've always had a low. So we stick to lifting weights. That's what we stick to. But anyway, I was fascinated, though, by looking at how marathon runners train, and they have a very regimented way of starting out their plans and what they're doing. They have kind of, and these are my own terms. These are not terms that I actually read, but looking at it, it seemed like they had an on-ramp time. They had kind of like a steady state time, and then it's like this continuing ramping up until game day. And then there's an off-ramping. There's a time where they're taking time to off ramp their body from the work that they've been doing this season. And I think it's important that we do the same in our own lives. With a marathon runner, there's time where they're kind of like getting their body ready to run. They're conditioning their body. They're starting to run maybe shorter distances. Then they begin to run longer distances, maybe even marathon length or beyond, but they're doing it a few paces behind race pace, right? And as they're getting closer to game time, they're going faster and faster and faster. And then they get to game time and they're on, right? And then after game time, there's a season where they take some time to literally off ramp their body. They don't just stop. Okay, I'm done running. The season's over. No, they actually take some time to condition. They take some time, probably. I can't remember if they actually run in this off season, but they may, they take some time to run a little bit. And then there's a season of full on rest. But I noticed that kind of ebb and flow, kind of like a bell curve to their training, right? And I'm thinking about that for our own lives, for our own seasons. There has to be a season where you're on ramping. Seed, seed time harvest. Look at this, right? Where there's time where you are literally tilling the ground, where you're literally putting in the seed, taking the time to do the work to build what you're trying to harvest. And then there's a steady state. There's time in there where you're just watering. You're watering the seed. What are you doing to continue to move your season forward? And then there's harvest time, game time. There's time to harvest what you have seeded, what you have watered and waited for, right? And that is how you maximize that part, knowing how and when to run. And then finally, and I think this is the key thing, knowing when to rely. Another thing about runners and athletes in general is that they rely on their coaches. And their coaches at this moment typically probably can't even do the race and the running that they do. But they know that this coach, whoever they have, has gone further and faster. They've already done the things, they've already won the accolades, and now they're coming back to train people to do well. And athletes know to trust them. They know to listen to what they do. They listen to what then they listen to them telling them what to eat, when to run, when to wake up, all of these different things, right? And I think that's so important that we have coaches in our own seasons that we rely on, and that we also rely on God. I think that's the major thing that we got to do, is that we rely on the one that knows us from the inside out, that we rely on the one that covers us, that we rely on the one that puts people in our lives to coach us, right? So just as athletes they know when to rest, they know how and when to run, and they know when to rely. It's time for us to do those three things in our own lives. And when we do that, oh my goodness, it transforms our life. Matter of fact, just even thinking about it, oh, this eye is getting on my nerves today, y'all. If y'all watching, catching the replay, I am all dolled up for a conference, and my eye is just watering. So hopefully my eye makeup doesn't look crazy. Anyway, but I was just even thinking about relying on the Lord in different areas, and I'm learning even more how to rely on his promptings. Let me give y'all a little story time, quick little story time. Do I have time for it? I got a minute. So this past weekend was something we call Catalyst, right? This is our night of miracles at our church, where we take time to just spend time in God's presence. And usually when I go to Catalyst, I'm not going to Saturday prayer. Our church has Saturday prayer on the next morning. I'm not going to prayer because we out late, we tired. I'm not going. But like since Thursday of last week, God was prompting me to go to Saturday prayer. Like, go in. Don't watch it on your TV at home. Go in. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want to. But I listened. And you know what's so funny? Me listening to that prompting allowed me to be a confirmation for somebody else. This young lady, I went to the bathroom after prayer, and I left out the bathroom. Then I went back in to get like a tissue or something. And there was a young lady in the bathroom, and she was crying. And I was like, "Can I hug you?" And she was like, "Yes." But then we got to talking and everything like that. And what was so funny was that a verse that the Lord dropped on my heart during prayer was a verse that he dropped in my spirit to say directly to her. And it was literally the verses that she had been studying and that the Lord had been prompting her in this season. So it was confirmation for her. If I didn't listen, if I didn't rely on God in that moment, I would have missed an opportunity to see God move in somebody. That person wouldn't have gotten that extra confirmation that she needed, right? So listen, this rely thing, I'm going to be working on it, and I hope that you do the same this season. Okay. All right. So that's how we maximize our season. Let's end out with the usual, our dream boost prayer. Lord, Help us to acknowledge where we are in our goals and desires. Show us how to maximize this season of renewal and come ready to transform in this last half of 2024. Show us how and when to rest, run, and rely as we gear up for the rest of 2024. All right, y'all. Well, that was episode 1 of season 2. And I am so excited to be back. We are going to be back every single week talking about different ways that we can live our lives intentional. So I hope I catch you at the next one. Bye, y'all.